All right, everyone, let's talk about the Beans to Brew team project. If you're looking at the assignment and feeling a little overwhelmed, well, you're in the right place. The whole point of this explainer is to take all that confusion and turn it into real confidence. We're going to give you a clear roadmap so you know exactly what to do. Let's jump in.
You know, we've all been there, right? You're reading a textbook and you start to wonder, does this stuff actually work in the real world? You know, outside of some giant company like Coca-Cola or Nike? Well, this project is designed to answer that exact question. It's going to challenge you to get out of the book and into a real, live, operating business.
So I want you to think of this less as just another assignment and more like a mission. Your one and only objective is to prove that the marketing principles you're studying are totally visible, they're universal, and they have real consequences, even in a place as familiar as our own campus coffee shop. To do that, you're all going to have to put on your detective hats. For this project, you are marketing detectives. Your scene of the investigation? Beans to Brew. Your job is to get in there, find the clues, and piece together the evidence. Okay, this next point is absolutely crucial. Your role here is to observe, to document, and to analyze what's already happening. You are not consultants. This isn't about marching in and telling Beans to Brew what they should do. It's all about identifying the marketing principles that are already in action, for better or for worse.
So how do you actually crack this case? Well, your whole investigation is built on a framework of 3 key components. For every single marketing principle you decide to analyze, you have to deliver on these 3 things.
First, you've got the evidence. That means finding the principle in action, right there at Beans to Brew. Second is the proof. This is where you show the principle as universal by comparing it to something else. And third, the consequences. You have to analyze what's actually at stake. Evidence, proof, consequences. That's your formula for success on every concept.
Let's start with evidence. This project has a very strict no vagueness clause. Seriously, a weak claim like B2B uses value pricing just isn't going to cut it. It's way too generic. A strong claim is backed by data. Something like, a 12-ounce latte costs $4.50 at B2B versus $6.25 at a competitor, which indicates value-positioned pricing. See the difference? One's just an opinion. The other is a documented fact.
So what actually counts as documentation? You got to show your work. I mean, take photos of the store layout. Grab screenshots of their social media, record specific observations, like literally counting how many customers use the mobile app over a 10-minute period. Bottom line, if you claim it, you have to be able to show it.
Next up is proof. So to prove a principle is truly universal, you're going to compare Beans to Brew to what we call an anchor brand, a huge player like Starbucks or Dunkin'. The goal here is to really understand how the exact same marketing principle works at totally different scales. It reveals the core strategies that work for both a small campus shop and a giant global corporation.
And finally, we have consequences. This is where you analyze the stakes using the rule of 3. For every principle, you have to explore the consequences from 3 different angles. Financial, like how much revenue is being lost. Psychological, like is this confusing to customers? And operational, like does this create long wait times? This shows us you understand the full impact of what's going on.
And to make these stakes feel real, you are required to quantify at least one of them. For example, let's say a student gets frustrated by a clunky loyalty program and just stops going to Beans to Brew. That's not just one lost coffee. Over 4 years, that could be what, maybe $3,000 in lost lifetime value? That is a number that gets people's attention.
Okay, so now you know what to deliver, but how do you actually get it done as a team? Look, this project is as much about collaboration as it is about marketing. So let's walk through how to set up your team for a smooth, successful process.
Here's a super simple 4-step workflow. First, sync up. Exchange your contact info and agree on how you're going to communicate. Second, decode the chapter. Make sure everyone understands the material together. Don't just divide and conquer. Third, build your deck. Collaborate in real time using a shared tool like Google Slides. And finally, rehearse. Do a full run-through to check your timing and make sure your story flows.
All right, let's talk about the final product. You are not creating a set of lecture notes here. You're building an executive briefing. That means your presentation needs to be sharp, totally professional, and visually compelling. And there are a few key rules you've got to follow.
The first rule is all about your slide titles. A title like segmentation is just a topic. It tells me nothing. A title like B2B segments customers by time of day makes a specific claim. It tells me what the slide is actually about. Every single title you write should state a finding. Second, we have the anti-bullet rule. Please avoid walls of text or those boring old bullet points. The image on the left, it's just a data dump. The one on the right uses a simple icon and a short, powerful phrase. It's cleaner, it's way more memorable, and honestly, it just looks more professional. As a general rule of thumb, aim for slides that are roughly 2/3 visual and 1/3 text. Your slides are there to support what you're saying, not be a script for you to read from. Think of them as a visual aid for a busy executive who just needs the key points fast.
All right, you've done the research, you've built the deck, you've rehearsed with your team. Now it's time for the final delivery. Let's just quickly cover the logistics and exactly how you'll be evaluated.
Your presentation is going to be evaluated on 3 criteria, on a scale from 1 to 5. First, evidence quality. Is your evidence vague or is it backed by hard data? Second, stakes analysis. Is it just generic or is it high impact and quantified? And finally, clarity and professionalism. That covers your structure, your visuals, and your delivery. The best part is, you know exactly what a winning presentation looks like from day one. No surprises.
And that brings us right back to where we started. This entire project, the whole thing, is designed to answer this one fundamental question. Your job is to use the evidence you gather from beans to brew to prove decisively that the answer to that question is a resounding yes. The principles are out there. They're operating right in plain sight. You can see them in the way people line up, you can see them in the items on the menu, and in the posts on social media. So, the only question left is, what secrets about marketing will your team uncover? Good luck, detectives.